NERDSoul.
Woo! Late ill kid at OneYoungsta holding it down, bringing in StreetGeek and NERDSoul. What is up, my people? Today, coming with another wonderful episode of Doppio Dope. That's right. I'm here. NERDSoul Light, say what's up.
Hiya.
And in the square right here, we got the philanthropic. All right.
Here you go.
Time Publications Man of the Year. Also known.
I wish.
Oh, yeah. also known as a hero to many. I introduced to you Clement Bryant.
Hey, what's good? I feel so all underwhelmed. I'm like, what are you talking about? Hey, me.
It's like, all right. So, guys, we are here to get into Doom Patrol Season 2, the finale, the season, all that jazz. We talked about the first 3 episodes, and now it's all over. It's finished.
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
Know what?
I was like, y'all ain't got no more episodes up in here.
I mean, but you know why? They stopped an episode short, though. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Because of COVID shutdown, pretty much every show. So it's like, we'll get into it, but I have a lot of thoughts. I have a lot of thoughts about it. I really hope there's a season 3. I really hope there's a season 3.
Yeah, me too. I do. I really do, because y'all left the brother hanging.
I mean, they left. I mean, but it's not.
Y'all left me like.
It's not through any fault of their own, though. It's
true.
It's like
COVID happened, and it was just like, well, this is that last episode we got. So
I mean, yeah, it's like, I mean, I thought about it would be cool if they did kind of like on the fandom thing that's coming up on the 22nd, if they acted out the script,
like a table read or something like that,
like a table read of the finale. That would be really cool. But knowing DC, knowing Berlanti, and knowing how they do things, especially with DC Universe and HBO Max, it's going to be like, I can see them, like, if there's a season 3, holding that as the kickoff for the season 3 episode, and then getting to the rest.
Yeah,
of whatever season 3 is going to be.
So I can see that happening.
Yeah,
I can see them being like, all right, this will be the pre season 3 stuff. Which is cool. Oh, and also, of course, since we're running down the season, we assume that you've seen the season, or you wanna just know about the season. Now,
we should say, what's the little man doing?
You know he wrong. Nah, I know, but you be hating. Anyway, with that said,
you said you hating. Spoilers abound.
Spoilers abound. We assume you've seen the show. You've seen the finale.
Yeah.
First thing I want to talk about, because this show has so many themes. Well, no, I'll say this: as a season as a whole, how do you feel about this season, as opposed or compared to the first season?
I will say, now, again, trying not to hold COVID against them, I will say it's a little step down, because I think, if they had more episodes, it would have been like, a fully rounded story that was delivered. That said, I still like this season, because you still have the same emotional beats or different emotional beats. You find out more about the characters. Even some of it, like the storyline with Dorothy, really kind of hit me hard. It's like that. We'll get into it, but it really hit me hard, especially when you saw how she got to the end, what happened at the end. Like her whole
technically our end,
and her whole story is like, it's kind of like an allegory for growing up. It's a very interesting way to tell it.
And how parents might see you or might always see you.
Right.
Which is really cool. And I want to get into that later too.
Yeah, we should get into that. But I mean, I really enjoyed this season, but my favorite episodes were the season 4 season 2 episode 4, the sex patrol or whatever. That was just, like, ridiculous.
And then the callback,
episode.
the random callbacks to it, like when the phone was ringing and like nobody was there to pick it up. It was just a couple over there having fun.
It went from being like, okay, this is what this episode's gonna be. Okay, emotional beat with Dorothy singing and I'm crying, whatever. Okay, Flex Mentala comes back, and then, oh wait, no, there's fucking ghost fucking, excuse my French, but like it's so, it goes from like 0, 5, and then just like 1,000.
Yeah, and then the way Jane handled the situation. It's very interesting.
This is ridiculous. And then it's just like what is going on? I love that.
She's like, put that right back where it came from.
Right. It's so insane.
Not today, Satan.
Right. Like, and I think Diane, I think I pronounced her name as Guerrero, but like she's been the standout of the season. Like I think season 1, the standout was, you know, the character of Cliff Steele and Brendan Fraser, and who's also voiced or acted by Riley Shanahan, like in person. I think season 1, him and Larry, who is, you know, Matthew Bomer and Matthew Zuck. I think those were the standouts of season 1, and then season 2 standouts was Jane, Niles, and Dorothy. But I will say the other episode I like was Time Patrol. Like the man with the helmet.
Yo,
it's just like ridiculous.
Straight just killed that dude.
And they thought it was his head. And he's like, "No, man, this is my head. This is my helmet. It's like my head. This is my head." And then everyone's just dancing. I really expect him to like have a needle drop of Les Sheep, like from Nile Rodgers. I really expected that to drop.
The funny thing is, this season definitely kept the vibe of like, yeah, we're just going to drop something. You're never going to have a straightforward episode with this show, for better or for worse, but you're never going to have a straightforward episode. But for me, this season, I don't know. There's things about this season that I'm like, it's lacking in, well, due to also the COVID. But then I think this season is a great building block on top of season 1, where we get deeper into, you know, Jane's story and craziness that goes on with her, and even with what goes on in the underground. Then more with Crowley. I know his name's not Crowley, but he's Crowley. But
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Especially that note that he wrote in like on the wall or whatever.
I was like,
I had to pause it. I was like, hold on, what?
I was like,
it was like, hey, Snookums, and then it got a little more adult.
Yeah.
But I was like, what? So he's just chilling with the devil like that? But it's cool to see the I guess the hint of the relationship between him and Niles going back. And what I liked the most about this season was probably the theme around fatherhood.
Family. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like, wow, okay, we have my 3 dads, or we have, you know, these 3 fathers that are going through trauma in their own ways.
Yeah.
Like, one is trauma that I've already perpetrated. Like, Cliff Steele is like, this happened. Wasn't my fault. I found out this dude essentially had me killed, you know what I'm saying? And now I gotta try to, you know, fix that trauma that was placed on my daughter and try to play catch up. And then you have poor negative man just kicking it, minding his business. And Spirit's like, hey, yo, you need to go talk to your kids. And he's like, nah, I don't want to talk to my kids.
But he forces him.
You need to go talk to your kids. It's like, but I don't want to go. No, you gonna go.
Right.
And seeing the hurt that he put his son through, especially it was the youngest one that died that he did go to the funeral for, or
I think so, yeah.
I think it was the youngest one, but whichever son he had to go, the one that had, you know, made the rocket and wrote letters and like, I wish my dad was still here and all kind of, and it's heartbreaking,
dude,
because like you were here and technically your wife and your son were right. Like they were like, oh, these are some crackpot conspiracy theories, but they were right. You're like, my dad's still alive. He's out there somewhere. Something's going on, and
right.
even how his other sons tried to like entrap him, and then dealing with Niles, where it's like he refuses to allow her to grow up or equip her with the tools to deal with her own issues. Because he's
that
stagnating.
is very.
Yeah, that's
sorry,
crazy.
I'm gonna cut you off.
No, you go.
No, it's just like that episode, not the finale, but the one episode before where she's like have a period, and she doesn't. She's like, my mother's not around. I can't tell my dad, and she only gets through it thanks to the kindness of the gas station attendant.
The register.
The register. And I was like, wow, this is like, and it really didn't really click for me until that moment of he doesn't want her to grow up. He doesn't want her to be, but we also know why she can't grow up. It's more of not only he wants to keep his, daddy's little girl, but it's also she grows up, the world could potentially end. So that's also
as we can see, as we can see, the candlemaker, right? Is it candlemaker? The candlemaker is. He seems unstoppable at this time.
I mean, bro,
and also being able to control other people's, inner dreams or thoughts or
imaginations,
whatever. Imaginations. And then being able to go to the underground and kill people. I was like, so who can stop this guy? And maybe the trick of the story, of course, what we saw at the finale was only she can stop him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that'll probably be her stepping into her womanhood by stopping him. It'll be like kind of her going through puberty, I guess. Maybe. I'm just throwing stuff out there.
I mean, it's honestly, when I heard that they were doing before this show came out, when they were doing Doom Patrol, I was like, wait, they're doing a Doom Patrol series? That's like a very hard.
Yeah, I was like,
it's like the same feeling I had when they said that Marvel was going to do a Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Yeah. It's like, I was like, wait, what?
And actually, I bet more money on the Guardians of the Galaxy than Doom Patrol. But now, even though we're talking about a movie as opposed to a show, but
still,
I like Doom Patrol way more than I thought I would.
Yeah,
way more.
I mean, and especially similar. And like, I read Doom Patrol, and like, also my interest in the Doom Patrol was one of the episodes of Teen Titans when you had Beast Boys. You had Beast Boy's backstory. I think it was like in season 5, and it sets up the arc of the villain. But you have like people like you have Rita Farr, you have Elastigirl, you had Minto. It's like, had Minto. But like, I thought it was going to be more of a straightforward adaptation. I didn't think that this show was going to be something that literally every episode I'm crying, I'm laughing, I'm sad, I'm angry. I'm like, it takes me on a
I'm watching the show like this show is way deeper than I think people give it credit for.
Yeah.
In a way that I don't think another show, which I think is just as weird, but in a way that I don't think Legion is.
See, Legion is, there's a lot of
enjoy Legion too.
Yeah.
But this one, I'm like, okay, yes, we have the rat eating the baby rat, and we have like Sex Patrol. But then in between it, you have these themes of fatherhood from these 3 men in 3 different ways, and how it's affecting them in trying to move forward and trying to accept the fathers that either they've become, or haven't had an opportunity to be. And it's like, whoa, hold up. We're getting really deep, as well as calling back to the dude that has a reptile on the side of his body. You know what I'm saying?
And I mean, on the film of fatherhood, they kind of hit that on the finale with Cyborg. His imaginary, like,
notice
was
his
dad. Yes. I was like, wow.
Notice his imaginary friend from childhood was his father, but wrapped up in the clothes of, the
Cowboy.
superhero or whatever, or the cowboy. But he said, my only job is to give you affirmations. That's interesting, especially knowing his relationship with his father. Because his father, all he does is just degrade him, break him down, work all the time, and tell him, like, you know how to do this, do it yourself, blah, blah, blah. And kind of leaves him on his own. To see that his childhood imaginary friend was his father, but just a better version of his father, was like, well, not a better version, a version of his father that always affirmed his, like his choices or his beliefs. And I was like, wow.
Dude.
Interesting.
As someone, like, I have a really good relationship with my father, thankfully, but there are times he is like, and not to get too personal, but, my dad, when he was growing up, he was homeless, dude. Grew up homeless. And my dad built himself up to be this dope graphic designer, this dope artist, and raised a family. He designed a logo that flies over every military base in the world.
Word.
And
that's what's up.
Knowing that, I'm like, how can I measure up to my dad? How can I be like something like that? So, like, that relationship, especially between, the Cyborg and his dad in season 1 and then seeing that in season 2, I was like, ooh, that really hit me hard. And so, like, when we talk about Doom Patrol, man, Doom Patrol is the show. It's like, I think
it's like this show finds a way to be silly, yet deep, in a way that dramas aren't.
No. And I wish that more people knew about this show. It's one of those rare shows that I wish that more people were talking about, that more people knew about. Like,
this show is
it is so good. This
show is better than it has. This show is better than it has a right to be.
Yeah.
Honestly. Because when you say on paper, we're gonna make a Doom Patrol show, I was just like, yeah, good luck with that, buddy. But at the same time, I sort of felt that way about Swamp Thing. Not that I didn't like Swamp Thing. I'm like, Swamp Thing, I don't know how far you can go with it. You know what I'm saying? Because you're on DC Universe. What are you really going to do? What are you connected to? Then I start watching the show, and I'm like, you know what? Kind of like with Black Lightning. I'm like, it's fine on its own. It doesn't need to connect to anything.
No.
We're cool. Dude, and all these actors
are like
great. All these are like great character actors from tons of other shows we've already seen coming together to make this dope. So I'm like even one of the doctors, I was like, oh yeah, he's dope. I've seen him on like 3 or 4 other things. So it's like DC Universe, sans the second season of Titans, I have my issues, but DC Universe on the whole part, generally on the whole, has been pretty solid, even though they did my boy Swamp Thing wrong. But Doom Patrol has been strong. Season 1 of Titans, I believe, was strong. After like episode 3. The first 2 episodes, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna stick around. You can even go back on the channel and watch where I'm like, guys, I don't know. And then episode 3, I was like, okay, all right, let's see what you got. You know what I'm saying?
And I think, most people feel that way about Titans. Like, I have certain feelings about how the way Nightwing is portrayed, but that's another story for another time. But when I was hurt when they canceled Swamp Thing. I was invested.
Yeah,
in
I was like,
completely invested.
The first episode just happened.
But they were like, apparently, they went super over budget, and when we got to the end of Swamp Thing, I'll bring it back to Doom Patrol, but when they got to the end of Swamp Thing, when they had Floronic Man at the post-credit scene, I was like, this is the perfect setup. Why is this show not going forward? Especially
this easily flows into Doom Patrol's realm to a certain degree if you ever wanted them to match or mix. And then in addition, I was like, you don't have to cancel it. You can do the BBC route where season 2 of Swamp Thing is just 3 episodes. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to completely kill it. You know what I'm saying? And the creative team, like they had James Wan. James Wan went out to do the $1 billion grossing Aquaman,
They already have another. They have Aquaman 2 coming. They did a spin. They have the spinoff of The Trench coming, and
Yo, the
like,
Trench is crazy.
and so when you're talking about the creative team that they had on Swamp Thing, I'm like, dude, it's amazing. And even when you talk about DC Universe, like Stargirl, man, Stargirl is consistently
and I
good
still haven't
episode.
peeped that. I gotta peep that. I still haven't.
You got, dude. You have to see Swamp Thing, like, or Stargirl. Stargirl, dude. I have like Stargirl is one of my favorite shows on right now. Like easily. So, and I'll say the other thing about DC Universe is it has brought back actors really well. Brendan Fraser, Luke Wilson, Brendan Thwaites, even though, Nightwing, whatever, Kevin Durant played for Lonic Man. So like,
who was on the Strain before that
and Lost. So so when we're talking about these actors, dude, DC Universe has delivered. And when we come back to bring it back to Doom Patrol, we should bring it back to Doom Patrol because that's what this is about. But Doom Patrol, man, it's a whole nother level of a show that, we talked about how shows really influence us, like Avatar, Korra. This is one of these shows that I can't easily forget. Yeah,
and they're meta in a very good way.
Yeah, like, remember, very much so.
There's a reference to Nobody, Mr. Nobody. He's off working on some stupid animated show. He's probably not coming back or something. And it's because of the world this show has set up. You're like, yeah, that is right.
And I mean, you have, what was it? Cockroach fall in love with a rat.
Yeah.
All right. And by the time you get there, you're like, okay. It's just like, okay.
And you believe it because even the characters like Cyborg, which I do want to talk about his love interest, he's like, look, trust me. She was like, so there's really a metal guy. He was like, I told you. It's crazy here. And it gets worse. You have no idea.
Yeah.
And then of course the idiot or whatever. They were like, he's like, this is a really great idea. Yeah, it's an awesome idea. And he was like, I don't think this is a great idea.
That whole episode was good too, man. And so, when we talk about DC Fandom is going to be in a couple of weeks, the whole cast is going to be there. So hopefully we'll get an announcement of season 3. But when we're talking about the finale, man, dude, when everyone started to wax up, I was like, oh no.
Because I started wondering, I was like, can people be unwaxed? I was like, I don't know if that's happened before. Or is there like a time period where you can be unwaxed? And like maybe she can fight Candlemaker and then stop him. If she stops him within, say if you're unwaxed within 3 hours of your waxing, then you can come back to life.
Everyone got waxed up. And I mean, we're talking even like Cliff's fight with Jesus. That was...
I have weird feelings about the fight with Jesus. All right, on one hand, the fight with Jesus is funny. I think it's
funny. It's deep,
I enjoyed it.
Funny.
It's deep and funny, but at the same time, I guess it's because I'm like, I feel like y'all are kicking at that door because you can, because you know good and well you never have the Prophet Muhammad on there. No. Good and well they wouldn't put the Prophet Muhammad on that piece because they don't play. So I do feel that kind of way. I'm like, come on, man. But at the same time, it revealed an issue around trauma with his father.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. It's like,
that's why I was like about fathers and whatever they got with their kids. It's like, here's crazy stuff. Maybe we should think about fatherhood. Here's some more crazy stuff.
Fathers, we should probably talk about Rita a little bit later because she didn't really have a father, but Jane. We're talking about fathers.
Yes. And I got a theory on that. I got a baby theory. I might be
wrong. Should we dive into that or should we kind of leave that for later? So
let's talk about Jane. Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about Jane, or
dude,
Jane / Miranda now.
Bro, we got to the end.
Man, look.
I felt so bad for Kay and Jane and the whole damn underground. Like Miranda bends down to Kay and says, "Sweet baby," and then you're just like, "Oh no!" And right before that, you see the skull, the whole decrepit body of the Miranda that died, that was pushed, that fell into the well, and I was like, "Oh!"
She turned around. She was like, "You're not Miranda." And all right, so my theory is, I got a baby theory. When, because we know the dad is in the well, right, or was in the well. All right, follow me. What if the dad was able, or her memory of her dad?
I think it's. I feel like the interpretation. It's the
embodiment of the fear around her father, or whatever.
Yeah,
was able to dress itself up as Miranda and come out. Now I might be wrong.
No, I think that's
either that, or maybe the candle maker was able to never left. When
I don't
maybe
think
the candle, like a piece of the candle maker, never left the underground. I don't know.
I don't
maybe
think
both of them are wrong.
I think it's more of a centralized Jane thing, because the way that they were building up, it was like Jane was like gonna get out. She was gonna get out. She was gonna be the savior. She was gonna become primary again, help Dorothy defeat the candlemaker. And then right when you saw the necklace in the ground and underwater, you're like, wait. And then you start to see those, like, wait, what? It comes completely out of left field.
What is it? When at the beginning of the season, maybe episode 1 or 2, there's a statement about, we know what the girl needs, or I know what the girl needs. And it made it seem as if they're talking about Jane and Dorothy, at least the way I took it. So maybe Jane saving herself also in turn helps Dorothy to save herself. Maybe.
That's possible, because
I might have took that wrong.
They did set up that relationship between Dorothy and Baby Doll, which is technically Jane, but like,
it's Jane for current purposes.
Yeah, but so maybe that is, but like just the revelation of the fact of it's her father, Miranda V2 is her father for all intents and purposes. I'm like, oh man,
because if it is, that makes sense. Trying to kill all the, but that's also chilling deep in the way where trauma you thought you buried 10, 15, 20 years ago. Something happens, aka the candle maker comes in and kills Baby Doll, and I can't remember the other one. But anyway, some new trauma happens and digs up that old trauma, and now you have to watch it completely debilitate your psyche until you get help again. That's whole inside of a show where a rat kicks the roach.
and flexing causes orgasms. She
was like nose on the wall.
Nose on the wall. But like,
it's off the charts.
That whole thing. If you're a person that dealt with any kind of anxiety or trauma, and it's not something that hurts a broken heart or whatever, like literal trauma.
Yeah.
And and it makes you depressed, and it makes you hard to come back from. That alone, that whole thing, just writing that, I don't know how they wrote that for an analogy for therapy, to getting help. That whole thing, man, just
and kind of the journey you have to take to get well again. Just man,
because that's how you read it. going back and watching it, that's how you read it. When Jane's swimming to get to the necklace, she's like, okay, and you see the light. Okay, the light is me getting help, me coming to being a primary, and me realizing, hey, there's some shit that I got to work out.
Yeah.
Excuse my French again. But and then you start to see, no, you just barely scratching the surface. There's more trauma for you to get through.
Yeah, a brand new realization once you swim through everything. Like once you get to your light, then you realize, oh, hold on. So what I thought was making me okay, aka Miranda V2, what I thought was making me okay, whether it's a friend or a pill or whatever it is, actually is not doing anything for me.
Right.
Actually, it's making things worse.
Right.
Man, Jane, that actress is killing it. Like nobody's whack on this show. That's another thing. Nobody on this show is whack.
No one.
And I'm talking about Doom Patrol in a show where they got really small, taken out of a painting, and then had to live in like a baby house in like a little, like this is the same show.
Dude, the whole show, and we're talking about Diane's performance. That scene where they're with the swingers in the bed, and she goes from one personality to the other, and then comes back, and then she's Jane. Like, what?
And
she is amazing. She's dope. She's dope. But
and that statement that she made is very real about how many people will trick you into think that you're being freed and you're really being enslaved. And that's a metaphor for a whole lot of things. Now, in this case, they're talking about sexuality, which in many cases is true. There's a lot of times where somebody might be like, yeah, you do this, you freeing yourself. Nah,
bro. You don't know what's good for me.
You're shackling yourself to something that you might not even know the depths of. And it's like, this is the same show.
Like, no one, like you said,
where Cliff got small and was fighting rats, essentially for no reason. Like,
we talk about Cliff's every other word is the F word. His every other word is the F word.
Yo, whoever be writing that joint, they have an easy job. Because they're like, all right, well, we're at a period. How many F's have we put in here? Only one? Let's see if we can slide one more F in there.
Wait, how many F's do we have?
Use up this DC Universe or HBO Max, rated R rating. It's not rated R unless you do this.
Man, like everyone brings it.
Might be sliding a little bit higher than R with all the HBO
it's like TVMA.
Adultness. Yeah,
it's like TVMA.
It's up there. Because that last episode I did not expect.
Nah, no one did.
But once again, Doom Patrol knows how to be like, guess what? You thought something was going to happen? Nah,
it subverts your expectations.
Ain't no happy endings here. Well, you thought there was going to be happy in this little apartment? Psych.
You thought Cyborg and his girl were going to hook up and they're going to get married and they're going to have little baby kids? Psych. You're like, nope.
And then the thing that I liked about that is because it's weird. You have these two people that are kind of alone, just kind of drifting and, existing. You got Cyborg. He's not really in the Justice League. They even kind of like, he's like, oh,
they make a
Justice
joke.
League is here.
Yeah.
So he's not really, he hasn't really earned his stripes yet.
Yeah.
But he's not a novice. So he doesn't really know where he's at in life. Then you meet this other woman who is kind of sort of picking up the pieces. They come together. It's, it's hot and heavy. But then we get deeper, because she did say, something to the extent of, you don't understand the kind of person I am or the things I've done. And then when you see what they did to her and why she's limping and stuff like that, and, then going to kill, the guys that did this to her, you're kind of like, well, I'm the justice guy.
I can't let you do that.
Is this not just? But is it just to let her do it? Like, what side of justice, or it like because it puts him in a weird place, which is good for his journey as a hero.
Yeah, because like, and that I think that whole thing is a direct callback to the earlier episode where they kind of got a little Black Lives Matter-y with the kid in the street, and they're talking about, well, this kid has multiple infractions, he should go to jail, and she's like, not necessarily, because if he goes to jail, he's going to be in the system for the rest of his life. Like, and that's a very interesting thing for Ronnie to be like defending him, and then go completely on the other side of that whole conversation. So, you know, Cyborg gets it, and then we talk about Rita, man. We should talk about Rita, because Rita, like, her whole thing with her imaginary puppet, she says
and the
her
thing with
speech
her
is
mom,
like,
we finally find out the thing about her first role, why she can't get roles, and the conversation between her and her mom, or her idea of her mom, or memory, or whatever.
Yeah.
And then when she meets the beekeeper lady, yo, she ain't play, and she ain't take no trash neither. She was like, psh. She was like, my kid's stupid, so.
she's like, don't talk about your kid that way. And you know, so Rita, man, Rita just Rita, dude, I think Rita's the one to easily make fun of because she's an delusional actress, but you realize she's got a lot more going on.
Even when
she's kind of
the young lady that was playing her was, you know, kind of broke down what's wrong with her. Yeah. And like, so you have all these things where she's trying to keep up this facade of being like perfect and pretty and quaint and all this, when inside she's insecure and, you know, isn't sure and can barely control or, you know, understand her body. And it's almost like this power has put her through sort of like another puberty. Like, you know, you're going through puberty. You know, your legs are too long, or your arms are too long, or your ears are too big, or your teeth are too big, or your head is too small, or what, you know, like everything is just weird. And she can barely reach out and, like, you know, grab like a, you know, I don't know, a basketball or something, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And while everyone else seems to be in perfect control of their powers. And we see a connection with her problem with her powers, similar to Negative Man when you meet the trio that comes back. Yeah. But in her case, the problem with her mother and how she got the role and her worthiness or her worth, maybe, you know, being wrapped up in that kind of paper doll, you know, at the end was very interesting. And kind of, I mean, all of it was kind of sad. You know?
And I mean, you know, the whole season's about parenthood. I mean, you have fathers, but it's also about parenthood. And parenthood and love and romance and
they do it so well.
Dude,
they do in 9 episodes what some shows can't get done in like 22 episodes.
Yeah. But it's like it's also because they have to. Well, so they make the best of the real estate that they have over 9 to 13 episodes. You know, it was probably going to be 10 this season without COVID, but like,
because it looked like it was going to be 10 this season, I guess.
Yeah, and I think the other thing with Rita is her power, her feelings of worthiness, and being like, and her feelings of trying to deal with her mother, maybe block her from being able to control her powers. Kind of like, until she breaks through that, she'll barely have control of being be able to control her powers of like the elasticity that she's supposed to have.
Yeah.
So,
I do have a question for you.
Shoot.
Do you think that Niles, in general, this season got off easy because his daughter was there? Like, you mean, like, meaning like the, you know, how the characters addressed him, you know, how they were.
How he's to blame.
Yeah, how he's to blame. Do you think they took it easy on him because Dorothy was there? Because that's kind of how I felt. I felt like, you're kind of using your daughter as a shield. you're kind of, you're
It's
still
a
scummy.
it's a yes and a no for me.
All right,
And I'll say it because on one hand, he doesn't have the amount of trauma that the other characters do, that they've endured and are continuing to endure. That said, he loses immortality, and at the end of the season, Candlemaker comes up and snatches Dorothy up, and you're like, wait, what? And it ends right there. And he's just like,
and it's
he's
kind of like
screaming for his daughter. And so,
and she kind of goes to him as well, sort of like, like she's ready. And I guess this is maybe because her mother doesn't really say much, but maybe this is something because I think they mentioned that she passed this on to her daughter. So I wonder if this is kind of like the rite of passage as you grow up to be able to kind of like conquer your demons, maybe, because she gave her the weapon and the boots. So it seemed like more of a like, this is what you must do. You've always we're gonna have to do this. And she was like, I can make my own weapon. Which then makes me wonder, like, well, what else can Dorothy do? Because did you just like manifest this in the real? Because we're in the real world right now. We're not in your dreams or thoughts. So did you just manifest this matter out of nothing?
Maybe she can, because you see the imaginary puppets. You see Candlemaker, the spider, whatever. Like,
and Crowley getting dragged off
by a puppet, man. That, like, I was like,
because the puppet rolled up on him on the street, like he was like, "Clement."
No, you ever see that? You ever see that meme of the black guy in the yellow suit behind the tree, and he's got his lip out, and just like, that's a puppet. That's a puppet to me, man.
Yo, that puppet is wrong, man.
I was just like, I was like,
had to do him like that.
I was like, bye. But like, yeah, man. Like, I'm concerned about DC Universe because we see that Stargirl has been taken off. So I would hope if they do sunset DC Universe, that putting it on HBO Max will give them a bigger platform to get more people to watch this show. Yeah. Because when you think about DC Universe, it's very niche. It's like for the comic book nerd, someone who's obsessed with comic books. It's not for someone. It's not a broad platform for every Tom and Jane to watch. And I think hopefully if they get season 3, that's why I hope putting season 1 and 2 on HBO Max while you have it on DC Universe 2 is something that they're gonna do.
That, and then maybe they'll decide, or maybe they'll announce what they're gonna do with DC Universe, because HBO Max does kind of sort of threaten its growth due to how they've treated the shows now. Yeah,
and there was
especially depending on what they do with the next season of Titans, if there's a next season of Titans.
There is. They renewed it, but there was an interesting thing yesterday. Now we're talking about it. So there was a big shakeup at Warner Media announced yesterday. So huge shakeup. So basically, 2 dudes, Bob Greenblatt and Kevin Riley, were kind of like steering the ship. I think I'm not concerned. I'm not too detailed or on what their roles were, but Bob Greenblatt came from NBC. He was like one of the guys that really righted the ship at NBC with their programming and everything like that. And Kevin Riley oversaw Turner. So he was responsible for AEW coming in through Turner, AEW wrestling coming in for like Turner and TNT. Both those guys got ousted. So they're gone. Probably because of the way that HBO Max was launched, right? It was kind of a buggled launch a little bit, and diluted the HBO brand a little bit. We were talking about that early on last year. We were talking about why would you name it HBO Max? So
because it seems like a service that's going to get rid of HBO Go, and HBO there's another one. Oh
HBO Now. HBO Now. So it's like HBO Now.
HBO Go and HBO Now are going to be folded into this, and HBO Max will be a service that has everything HBO and Cinemax has. That's in my mind what I was thinking.
Yeah, so it
But
has
now-
everything under that.
But now we got stuff with DC in it, and I've seen the billboards here, but we're in LA. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what the billboards have been like or what the penetration for the marketing has been like around the nation. Or
I've heard,
I don't think they're worldwide yet, are they? I don't think they're completely international.
I don't think they're international yet, but I've heard, I've heard through the grapevine that a lot of people weren't happy about the way that the show that it was marketed. Like a lot of it was marketed. Gret said, I have friends that work for HBO Max that, the stuff that they're doing is really good stuff, but they're more on the tech side. But that said, this big shakeup, kind of similar to what happened with NBC earlier this week, is they're all trying to more reorg their organizations around the streaming units, because now NBC has Peacock. Yeah. So, so hopefully what's going to happen is there's going to be more synergy between the divisions, and maybe we'll get more series from DC, but also too, that we're going to get more of something that's more viability of, getting more people to watch these shows, because so we'll see. It's a huge thing. It's a huge thing because you have NBC, you have Warner Media that both had reorgs in the same week. That HBO, I will ridiculous.
Say HBO Max, the biggest thing that bothered me because I picked it up for the free month, I picked it up, the first thing I noticed, I was like, so this isn't on Fire Stick or Roku?
I was just about to say that. I
even tweeted about it. I was like, for real? I was like,
and they're still trying to get
the market penetration for Roku and Fire Stick is around like 70-something%.
Yeah, it's huge.
Like,
it's huge.
It's huge. Why would you even launch without? Like, what are you doing?
And that was the thing. And that's what I was kind of getting at when they said.
Then they pushed back Lovecraft. Yeah. I was like, nah, bro. I was like, y'all bugging. I was like, y'all better fix y'all stuff. I'm like,
Oh, yeah. So.
I mean, even CBS All Access is on Roku. Come on, man. And CBS All Access ain't got nothing. I'm just playing. Y'all got Star Trek Discovery. Y'all have Avatar and Legend of Korra, which Netflix has, so technically you don't have it. You do have Star Trek Lower Decks. I haven't watched it yet, but I heard that it's all right.
It's good. It's really good. I watched it.
I like the trailer. And you have Picard, which I'm on the fence on. You know what I'm saying? Y'all did kill a black dude within like the first 5 minutes of your show. So, I mean, there's that. Yo, CBS, look, holla at your boy. I'll hook y'all up.
Hey, you talking to CBS. You talking to CBS, remember?
Yo, CBS watches the show. You know what I'm saying?
CBS is on the show. CBS is on I'm kidding. I am not representing CBS. I am merely an employee for CBS. I am merely one person in a cog of CBS. I have no power or no decisions on programming. I'm a lonely social media marketer.
Sorry, CBS. I got two things for you. Due to you, CBS All Access, I found the show Evil. I'll give you that. Evil is a good show. A very good show.
Yes.
So I take that back. Y'all have more than Star Trek. Y'all have Evil, and thank you for giving Misty Knight opportunity on All Rise.
All Rise is a dope show.
So
All Rise is dope.
Thank you. So
All Rise.
You know what? You're back in my good graces. I forgot Evil is a good show. Y'all left us hanging in a good way at season 1. Dope hotness. And All Rise is a feel-good show where you get to see Misty Knight getting some love. And so, props to y'all. So now you're coming back up. You're coming back up.
Nah. See? Okay, yeah. I was joking about the whole CBS power thing. I have no power at CBS, but I enjoy my job. I have no power. But I enjoy my job. I enjoy what I do. I work on very different shows. One I told you about later on. But so when we coming back to HBO Max, like that launch was bungled because a lot of people got really criticized. Like, you guys did not negotiate or have a software integration with Fire Stick and Roku at launch. Like, Are you crazy? And the other thing at launch, what happened was they didn't let like someone with TV providers be able to log into something with HBO Max. They didn't have that until the day that it launched. That's how I access it. So that was the other thing, and the marketing, and the fact that they really didn't have like a really big show to launch with, which is why the Snyder Cut got through.
They could have launched with Lovecraft Country, but then they pushed it back. And then you didn't let me see the pilot, HBO. Yeah, I'm talking about you. HBO watches this show too. So I'm just letting you know, y'all slipping.
Yeah, I heard a lot of black journalists did not get access to Lovecraft Country. That was the thing that was being complained on yesterday on Twitter. Again, I'm not criticizing, but this is just what I've seen in the ether. Hey, I'm just saying. Hey, I'm not trying to get.
HBO watches the show. Hey, I'm watching you.
I ain't trying to get murked. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying.
Like my doorbell rings, it's like, we're HBO. You said what? I'll be like, how y'all get here?
Like, I don't know, assassins. Like, but so hopefully this reorg. And the other thing about this reorg is people are going to lose their jobs. 500 people are just scratching the surface going to lose their jobs because it's a reorg. Same thing with NBC. So I'm like, so
especially
on one end,
people have already been losing jobs, and
right now in a recession, man, it's like, and so and every company is trying to kind of reorganize around streaming because linear isn't really hitting as hard anymore, but also two, everyone is trying to catch up to Netflix and Disney Plus. That's the other part in Amazon. Netflix, Amazon, Disney Plus. So it's like, and they have the money for content.
And Netflix,
HBO has the money.
Netflix has been solid. Like I said, there's only two people I can see, or two entities I can see really competing with Netflix, which is Disney and Warner Brothers. That's it, I guess, or you can say AT&T now, I guess. But Disney and Warner Brothers. I mean, you have other players outside like Amazon that probably have the money to, but I don't think they have the infrastructure to, even though I know they have like the server load and all that, but I don't think they have like they don't have the like studio television sort of mindset or filming mindset to kind of, they got some stuff, but I don't see them, even if they really wanted to hardcore compete with Netflix, I see them having a tough go at it, as opposed to like Warner Brothers and Disney, that I think it would be a little bit easier because technically they already make TV. They just need the technology. Amazon has the technology, which is cool, but being creative and getting the art side in there takes a little more time. Like, I'm sure that Disney already has X amount of movies plotted out over the next 15 years or whatever. What I mean? The next 15, 20 years. So they're just like, oh, we're just putting that digital file right here. So it's like kind of, it's. I think it's easier to find people to give you good tech than to find people that are going to give you a series that's going to, capture people, galvanize their attention, and run for 10, 11 seasons or whatever. That kind of stuff.
I will say this, Amazon. So, and again, I'm not trying to bring my job into this. I'm saying I'm not trying to bring my job into this, but so
I feel you.
I'm trying to hold it. But like, so I worked on Mozart in the Jungle. Like, so there's been a massive shift at Amazon in the last couple of years to do more broad content.
Yeah.
Beforehand, you had shows like Transparent, Mozart in the Jungle, Man in the High Castle, shows like that, even Grand Tour. And I worked on all of those shows from the social media. So I see the shift where they have now The Boys, which is really good for them. There's a lot
of fanfare around that.
They just got 20 Emmy nominations for Mrs. Maisel. Upload, which is the new the dude from The Office did a show, and now don't forget they have Lord of the Rings. They have the Lord
they
of the
still
Rings series coming.
They haven't dropped that yet, so they do have that.
Yeah, so Amazon, I would say they are a dark horse that if the other companies don't watch out, Amazon's gonna hit them. They have Paper Girls. They have an adaptation of Paper Dolls coming from Brian K. Vaughan. So they have
Brian K. Vaughan adaptation could be.
So
Brian K. Vaughan is not a slouch in comics.
No.
He's not a slouch.
And then Robert Kirkman, Invincible animated series.
They're doing an Invincible animated series. Oh, that'll be cool, man. I think that'll be cool. Invincible is.
Stephen Yeun is he's the lead. Sandra Oh's in it. They've got stuff coming. They have and not that I'm trying to sound like an Amazon salesman.
Nah, but I feel you.
But they also have Fast Color. They're doing a TV show based on Fast Color. So I'm like, and I just say this.
So they got stuff that just ain't dropped yet. So
they're working on stuff. So because they have a new head of the studios. So they haven't really just dropped yet
to really be.
They have a brand new office in Culver City that is literally from where my girlfriend's house is, literally a 5-minute drive. I've been in it, so it's like
so it's around.
So they're
Amazon. Have your boy roll through your studio, check your stuff. You know what I'm saying?
But
COVID-free though. You know what I'm saying? Holler at me after the vaccine.
Bro.
After the vaccine.
So, the streaming wars are going to be very interesting. This is why I want shows like Doom Patrol, because if you had Doom Patrol, if more people watch Doom Patrol, man, I really, really, really think that this show would get its kudos. This show should be nominated for Golden Globes, man. It should be getting Golden Globes and Emmy nominations. It's that good.
The thing is, the reason I think it's not is because people don't know how to take it, because
it's out there.
Because I was like, yo, shouldn't this be getting like maybe at least like one Emmy, like maybe like 1, 2 at least? And I'm like, it's not even in the conversation. I'm like, this show is a lot better, a lot more well written than you think. But at the same time, we know the Emmys. We know how the Emmys get down. We know how
it's prestige.
All the award shows are geared towards drama and prestige. That's just kind of how it is.
Right.
But like I said, on the low though, Doom Patrol is kind of a flagship show. Like on the low, it's good.
Yeah.
Like I recommend it.
Anybody who hasn't watched, I think the one thing that this show needs, you have to be briefed on the show a little bit before you watch it, because if you're expecting something that's like very straightforward, okay, I did my hour, okay, cool, that was a really good episode, okay, cool, go back to your window. No, this is not that kind of show.
This is a show that's gonna like make you think about some things, and
that maybe you forgot
some
about
stuff. Yeah, that might. Yeah,
it brought up stuff that I forgot about when I was like 10 years old. Like I'm like, and I'm like, wait, what? I forgot that happened. I forgot that I got.
It makes you wonder, like, have I really dealt with my issues with, insert my brother, my friend, my ex-girlfriend from college or whatever, whatever, my mom, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Have I dealt with my issues from insert here after watching an episode of that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, it's I recommend it. Doom Patrol's dope. Y'all need to watch it. Y'all know the deal.
You watch it.
That's it.
You have any more thoughts that you want to get to the people? And sorry if I went too deep with my background and everything like that. But
that's good. I like that you bring that to the show. That's why I like when we get into those conversations about like just general work and just general work in like the industry side too. Because I didn't know there was a shakeup, but at the same time, a shakeup like that wouldn't trend. Like I watch trends every now and then, but a shakeup like that wouldn't. It's a huge thing, but it's not a seismic Twitter trending topic.
It's not a Twitter thing. Yeah. Well, it's not a Twitter trending topic, but for if you're in the industry and if you're aware, you're like, oh shit. Like
you're like, oh.
When I saw that, I was watching the Avengers beta. My boy was playing Avengers beta over YouTube, and I was watching that. And then the notification came out. I was like, oh shit, I need you to pause this game. He's like, why? I was like,
it's like there's going to be a big reorganization, which something that big. Well, I mean, I guess the bad thing is so many people are going to be displaced,
losing their jobs
over the next couple of weeks, and then we probably won't feel it until, because whenever there's a changing of the guard, you really don't see the effects until about a year out, because they have to get in. They're going to hire new people or hire back the old people.
Bro.
Then they're going to get rid of some projects. They're going to keep some projects. They're going to tweak some projects. They're going to add their own. And it's going to, a reorganization is tough.
And I just scratched the surface of what it was. So HBO, I'm the whole reorg, the structure doesn't really make sense to me. But like, Ann Saranoff, who heads up Warner Brothers, is also going to be having a role in HBO Max. And the guy, the CEO, Jason Kilar, he's only been in his post for 3 months. He's making this kind of shakeup after 3 months. That's why it's such a big deal. And this was the guy that was also a co-founder on Hulu back in the day. So you're talking about a massive shakeup about reorganizing everything around HBO Max. Like, and the dude, some dude named Casey Boyce, who also has on the HBO side, is also going to be having a role in HBO Max. So this kind of, I hope I'm interpreting the news right, but this kind of shakeup, it's a really big shakeup. Like, that is like, we're talking about business moves.
Everything around HBO Max is
because they're doing the same thing with
NBCU. It's an awesome idea if it works.
And
if it works,
right?
It's an awesome idea,
right? But
it's a gamble.
And the way they're doing it, it's because the one hand, a lot of people weren't talking to each other. So one of the things that they're hoping to doing, that there's more communication and kind of sitting around, more things will start to happen.
Yeah.
Reorgs. I've gone through reorgs and organizations. It is not a fun place to be. So
I've been through 2 reorganizations.
Yeah.
So one time it was cool. No, one time it was horrible.
Mm-hmm.
And one time it was like, oh, hold up, things got better.
Right.
It's like,
right.
Well,
so
maybe not better monetary wise. I didn't get a raise, but people were nicer. Like the management was nicer at that time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I've also been under essentially I've essentially been under like the Cruella de Vil of call centers too. So
I know what you mean. Yeah. I feel you. But so like
we'll see.
And so this dude being in his post only 3 months and making a shakeup like that, and Bob Greenblatt, who came from NBC, was only in there for like a year and a half. So he's gone after a year and a half. So it's like, whoa, what is going on? Like I really suggest reading up on it, because I was like, whew, like that's a shakeup. That is, and I'm not criticizing it. I'm just more of,
since we're on industry side, and guys, I know this was about Doom Patrol, so I'll end
but yeah, we talk about it. Yeah.
I think what could change the game, because we already have one test case. Technically 2, but one was a whack movie anyway. And I'm assuming this movie will be good. If Mulan comes out.
Which it is.
And if it crushes when it comes out, meaning that people buy this thing.
I know where you're going.
Man, we might get our movies. We might get
Black Widow.
I do think 30 is high when you're already paying $7 a month. But regardless of that, if it works for them, it works for them. So we'll see. We'll see. Because I might be thinking 30 is high, and people might be like, nah, 30 is a perfect price.
Because when you talk about families, you're talking about families of 4, and so you're paying $10 a ticket. So $15 for me, $15 for my wife, and then whatever, if they have kid prices, it's like $10 to $12 for the kids. How much is that just to get in? Then you have snacks, like
Depending on where
$30.
you at,
I'm
you gotta
like,
pay to park. So yeah,
parking, especially if you go to the ArcLight, it's like here at least you're paying $20 for a ticket. So
Yo,
I'm like 30. I'm like,
if you go to the ArcLight, which is decent, ArcLight has better popcorn. ArcLight has
better food.
better seating. Well, unless you go on like Prime level or whatever. But I like the fact that ArcLight is like, look, we care about the movie. Don't come up here acting up, because we will kick your butt out.
10 minutes?
You ain't
here 10 minutes? You ain't getting in. And it's like, yo, I just dropped $25 on this ticket. We don't care.
We will exchange it for the next showing, but you can't come in here. So
I know we talked about Doom Patrol. I'm thinking we gotta say sorry for getting off topic, but when you talk about Mulan, so Bob Chapek, who is the new CEO of NBC, Disney, he's like, this is gonna be a one-off. I'm like, bruh, this ain't gonna be a one-off. There's no way. You're saying
it's gonna be a one-off because you're of course hoping for the best, but preparing for the worst.
Yeah,
you're like,
exactly.
Oh, we're only gonna do this one. I'm like, let Mulan mess around and make, I don't know, $1 billion in 2 weeks. Guess what? Black Widow will be out next month.
Next week. Okay, boom, 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 boom. Like, because now
and make like millions upon millions.
They've got to be using this as a test case to see, one, will consumers buy the movie? Because will they buy the movie on our service? Because now they have to also bring in new tech for Disney Plus, because now it's got to be for in-app purchases. So now that's a whole other thing. So now
technology that you
that's another thing. So there's no way that they're just doing this as a one-off, or just being like, it's a use case. They're using Mulan as a test case. I'm like, I've been on enough business side meetings to know.
My face is not for the thing. My face is for the tech side that's going to have to work out this in-app purchase for something that was never built for in-app purchases.
It was not built for that. So now,
someone who has done light programming, with PHP and markup languages like HTML and stuff, and like CSS3, when a client says, I want you to build it for this, and you build it for this, and they say, you know what, let's also put on this, and you're like, see, when we build it like this, that means it's hard to build it. Like, we're gonna have to like break down like 30% of this, because we're gonna have to fit this in, and we're gonna have to test it. And
and they're doing that next month. It's dropping next month, so they gotta be going. So,
and then who knows if they want to add in things like access codes for technically screeners, and discount codes for, like, say if you're part of the Disney club or something. I don't know. Once you add in all that, it could be. I'm glad I ain't got to do it. I'm glad I got to do this.
So that's what I'm saying. It's like, you got to do all this work, and you're gonna do it for one-off. And I'm not criticizing. I got to be careful, because I'm not criticizing, but I'm like, there's no way that they're just doing this as a one-off.
Nah.
There's no way.
And prepping it. I'm pretty sure there's been an internal memo, or at least a conversation with the execs, like, if this goes off, Marvel is right back on track. We're going to roll this joint, because technically Marvel has been pushed back. The
MCU has been pushed back. Think about it.
If we can make all this money and don't have to split it with the theaters, man.
Because let's be honest, we're talking just about the MCU. I know we're getting way off topic, but like, when we talk about the MCU has been pushed back. We still don't know who's playing Kamala Khan. We don't know who's playing She-Hulk. We don't know who's playing Moon Knight. We don't know what WandaVision is going to be the story of. We barely seen anything of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and we don't even know what is happening with Loki. So it's like, you have a lot of updates that they are probably holding back because of the storyline that's going to kick off in Falcon, Winter Soldier, leaving the WandaVision that starts with Black Widow. So there's no way that this is just going to be one-off.
And
because they got to be thinking about all the long term.
Regardless of the amount of money, because this isn't the movie I would have tested it on. The movie I would have tested it on would have been New Mutants. We ain't doing nothing with the movie, no way. Just put it out there.
No one's gonna. But here's the thing: no one's gonna buy New Mutants.
$20 a pop.
No one's gonna buy New Mutants. No, but
I'm saying just to see if the technology works. Can it work without hiccups? All that, and then do something with Milan. Because I mean, we're not doing that with New Mutants anyway. We ain't doing that with New Mutants.
You know why though? They contractually have to release it in theaters because it's the last holdover from the Fox film. They can,
right,
and that didn't come out until this week, or when Comic-Con happened. The Comic-Con at home, they had to contractually release it in theaters. That was one of the, so they can't.
Never gonna see that movie.
But it's like that thing was like, I realized that the first trailer came out in 2017. I was like, wait, what? I was like, what? I was like, oh man,
we ain't never gonna see this movie.
And it's a shame, man. The movie looks like it's gonna be a killer, but
yeah, it looks dope. But well, with that said, guys.
Yeah.
That's our
Sorry, we got our topic.
In this square right here, philanthropist, man of action, man of the year, top Billboard Top 100 record-breaking artist.
Nah.
He's been in every record-breaking show. Clement Bryant.
Worked on record-breaking shows, but that's a whole other thing. But stop lying to the people. Stop lying to the people. Stop lying to the people.
People know I have nothing but like top-notch, top-quality, upstanding human beings on my show. They know I have stars.
Well. Anyway, find me Twitter, Instagram, Clement Bryant. Stop lying to the people. We got off topic, but all right, we're good.
And NERDSoul, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all in places. Of course, YouTube is the hub. Go to hit the thumbs up if you like what you see, and hit the thumbs down if you don't. But if you don't, I'm gonna send the New Mutants after you, and you ain't coming back until they open theaters. So if you like listening, you can check out the podcast, Spotify for music. For us to you, thank you for watching, and we're just saying, peace.
Peace.
Yeah.